Palo Alto Networks Firewall, Content ID configuration, now we're into URL filtering. So just when you thought surfing the web was an easy thing to do, now we're going to make it, well, I guess more protected. It's probably a better way of looking at it. Not difficult, just better protected. So moving forward into this idea in here on URL filtering. Okay? So we're going to kind of go through some of the same steps again to see what's going on from a licensing point of view. So click down here on licenses under device. Now on here, remember everything we've done before is on the threat prevention side. We're finally moving into something new and exciting. So over here, and by the way, these may appear in different order depending on what version of PanOS you're using, but up in here, we see that the PanDB URL filtering. You need to have a separate license enabled for that. Tells you what's going on with it. If you didn't already have it activated, where it says yes right here, would say activate, and you would need to click on that first. Now, we can go ahead and download. Haven't done that part yet. Okay, once we do this, well, it has a basic one, so it'll tell you that. Any new entries, all the fun stuff. Whenever we do go to download, you do have to pick what region you happen to be in. Okay, so we're in North America, so we'll go ahead and pick that. And it's going to download all the information from Palo Alto. All right. Finished successfully. There we go. That was fast. Okay, so nice things. So it tells us what version that we had. Okay, so 226, what's been going on with it, finished successfully, all good to go. You'll always have that re-download portion there if you want to, redo anything or revisit any of it. Okay, so perfectly fine on that stuff. Now, there is nothing under my dynamic updates, so go ahead and click on it and show you on here. There's nothing in the dynamic updates that pertains to the URL filters. Okay, so we've got our antivirus, our applications threats, the CVE, all that fun stuff. Global Protect, which is separate, and Wildfire, doing two separate things in there. But nothing with the URL filters on that. So it's completely an as we decide to do it under the licenses point of view, whether we're going to do a new download the new stuff, or anything else. So that's where that is. Otherwise, things stay a little bit static for that. Now, as we move into it, okay, so we're going to do the same type of thing. So under my objects and my security profiles, go down to URL filtering right now on here. Now, I do have a predefined one, so things that I can go ahead and block. Block list can be a completely separate thing. But really what I want to do is I'll go ahead and add my own categories or add my own filter on here. Once we pull this up, we can see all of the categories on the side. Okay, and again, these are all defined for us. They don't give us any information as far as what websites are or not on there. You kind of find that out on a basis as you go, because it can be pretty good size. So a lot of information for that. But category-wise, it tells us what's going to be going on. So I'm going to go ahead and create a user block URL. And pick some informations on there. Okay. Now, block list and allow list. This is my black list and my white list on here. And I can also pick the action for what I'm going to do for it. Remember actions that we had. Block, of course, automatically blocks. Continue will make the user click OK that they realize that you're logging something up with that. Override, of course, is they must enter a password in order to do that. And then alert just makes a log file for it. So leave that as block. But if there's anything that you do, that you want to have in here, that you want to have blocked, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, things that you want to have allowed, absolutely put that on there. From a category standpoint, okay, so we have all the categories. We can check or uncheck whatever we want, and then the action that participates along with it. So things that I want to look at, and we'll just pick a couple of the topics on here. As far as where we're at, see that, dating on this page. We'll change each of these to block. I should do it with each one as we go, so alright. And adult will block. And let's see, what else do I have? I had gambling on my list, there we go. We'll block that. We have the nudity. We'll block that. And sports and weapons. So figure good things for really not going to be allowing during the work week. And weapons. Although weapons you might want to put to logs. You probably want to know if somebody's searching for weapons while they're at work. Nope. But anyway, other things that I want to do is go up to back there in alphabetical order, which makes it nice, but go back to hacking up here, and I want to change this one to alert. And same thing with job search. Because I think it's more fun to just log the information, not let people think that they're being blocked. But alert, there we go, for malware, and social media, social networking, same thing. An alert on that. Okay, so all the others should be set to allow by default. All right, so that's perfectly cool for it. So we've got those changed, the little red marks where we change anything. All right, so that's kind of the way that I want to run this list. And then we'll go ahead and click OK on there. And same thing as before. When I go into my policies, okay, so same policy that I'll go ahead and put it on, so it should be easy to find for us. So right here, I can click on my URL filter and pick either the default or the new one that we just did, the user block URL. All right, so go ahead and click OK. Now, when we go to do this and have everything actually working, I suppose we should go ahead and commit. We haven't done that in a while. So as we go and do this and put everything on here, from a monitoring point of view, remember what we did from the previous 3 nuggets, the 3 things that we looked at for security profiles, were all going to be into the threat log. With URL filtering, we actually have a completely separate log just for that. Okay, so it is giving us an error. I'll go back and check that out afterwards. But monitor on here, we can look at and see the URL filter. Okay. Whoa! There's a new one. Okay, so it didn't kick me out this time. That was very bizarre. In any event, once we have this going and actually have URLs flowing through here, we will have the stuff that we put in the alert file, we'll actually have that going. So it'll tell you when the request was received, what category it was, the specific URL, the zone information, and most importantly, the source information, your IP and user. And action will go along with it. But it'll tell you everything that we've got from monitoring those URLs that we're going to do. And that's really kind of the important piece, the thing that we want to get out of the URL filter is exactly doing that. So this is where we're going to find the information, and that is URL filtering. In the wonderful world of URL filters, I remember the first thing to do is to have a license for it. This is for full filtering, not just the categories that we can do on our own. Categories and stuff for filtering on our own, handled completely separately. Okay? This version of the setup is completely for the URL filtering that we get a license for. So after we get off of here, once we have our license in place anyway, the important thing was to activate it and download. That all takes place off the same page right there. And when we get it into our URL profiles, on the same, remember, it's a single profile that we have, so we were able to see all of the different categories on there and select action, so I'll say action per category. So that way you can be very specific in how you want to set things up and how things are going to be viewed, if you will, by your policy. And then just apply it into the security policy as we've done before. Monitoring, by the way, so log is in a URL filter log, so separate from the other stuff. Obviously you have to have transactions take place for that log to be populated, but as you get users, as you get information, as things happen in there, you'll see that information start to populate. But otherwise, that handles our URL filtering. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.